I just had something really important to say because of something big that happened today inside of Israel and the IDF. So, just for you to understand the background, units in the IDF have a tradition that was made from the forming of the country, and that tradition was basically making signs on whatever they could find in the battlefield. If it was like cartons or pieces of wood, and they would make art. Some of this art has stayed this entire time. So, like for 80 years, some of the art is of soldiers that later fell in battle. And basically, there was units. They take the military units. They take those signs with them to every battle, and it's like an honorary thing, and it's a luck thing, it's a respect thing, it's a lot, it has a lot of deep meaning. Now, a specific unit today of 200 people, they just came down to fight in Gaza after fighting for half a year in Lebanon, and they have a new commander. And their new commander has been there for 2 months, and he's been disrespectful as fuck. But you know, they follow orders. They do what they need to do. And today, in the morning, he called them all out. Told them to take off all the signs, and then he basically started to take a hammer and started smashing those signs. Apparently they've been complaining about this commander for a while now, but this was the edge. And at that point, and I don't think I've ever seen it to that scale, just the entire unit, all the 200 soldiers just dropped their weapons in front of him. They took their bags, and they just left the base, which is not something you're allowed to do. But they did it because the amount of disrespect, and just disrespectful, not for this, just about the signs, but for the dead that made those signs. And it's been unfolding the entire day. And you'd think that the higher ups in the IDF would understand the severity of the situation and would say something about that commander, but instead they kept threatening the entire day on the soldiers of what happens if they're not coming back until a certain hour. And they all just said, fuck it, we're not coming back. And right now they started to send them to jail for 30 days and to drop all their ranks. And it just, and it's astounding. It's disgusting. For a lot of us Israeli, we are really angry about this because they have dedicated the past 3 years for fighting nonstop for this country. And the past half a year, they didn't get to see their family once because they were deep inside Lebanon. And then when they were supposed to go home, they sent them to Gaza, and they didn't complain. They just did it. And then this. And yeah, it's been unfolding for the entire day, and it just, I had to talk about it because it's insane. I've never seen something like that.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Nobody.
We have Kathy who would like to respond.
Yeah, it's like Sapir was saying. The signs that the IDF soldiers were wearing were remembrance of their fallen. So to have the commander smash them after they made them take them off, to me, it's really disrespectful. Not just to the IDF members, but to their comrades that passed.
Let me be clear, it's not just about like the people that were following, because this is for the entire history of the IDF. Those people that came and then went to live an entire life, right? And it's not like pins or something. It's like big signs that they made using materials that they found in the battlefield. Because obviously there's not a single generation here that didn't have to go through multiple wars. I even have a video if you want me to show it.
Let's go to the review responses. You could send it to me on. Okay. How long is the video?
It's just a few seconds.
Okay, show it. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the other anyone that wanted to respond can.
Okay, Nelbani.
Next is Raham.
Hey guys, you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, yeah, it's interesting. I saw a video of this, which I think is what Sapir is probably going to share, being shared on a Iranian propaganda page on Facebook, saying, "Oh look, the Israeli soldiers are abandoning the IDF because they're evil and they've understood how evil the IDF is and they disagree with what they're doing. This war is wrong, and they've just basically spun that to be because of everything that happened in Gaza and their participation in the Iran war." So yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, that's another thing. They just basically removed the part of like the incident itself, and they just reported on the part of the soldiers leaving. And like in the Our World now, it went for entire propaganda that like, look at that, the armor is folding, or like they understand that they're doing a genocide and all that kind of stuff. So it is being used throughout the Our World now as a propaganda.
All right, Nelbani.
Next is Sherry.
Sherry.
When I guess the video will answer the question I had, but when you say signs, I'm thinking of like literal, poster boards, etc. So I'm not sure what you mean by signs. It sounds like you're talking about things around their chest or, so I apologize. I just wanted a better definition of what you mean by the signs they're wearing or bringing.
Yeah, it's okay. This is the video. This is him just basically smashing those. Those are big signs. And one of some of the damage. So we're talking about signs like this. This is like art that that soldiers have been doing for many years, and it's a tradition. And you just hang it in the camps or in the bases, like wherever the unit goes. And it just I can't even describe the outrage that I've been feeling over this.
Why are they doing this again?
So that's the thing. For what we know, this new commander from the soldiers that I know from that unit, because I know some soldiers from that unit. So take it with a grain of salt, because obviously it's one perspective. But from the soldiers that I know, they said that this commander was relatively new, and he just been going in and replacing another commander after they were already like as established, and he wanted to basically show force and like gain respect. But I think he went too far. He maybe thought that he was disrespected, even though they followed orders no matter what. but there were a couple of incidents that he was reported to higher ups in the IDF, and no
Okay,
one
so
said anything.
okay,
No
so
one did
basically we
anything
don't know
about it.
he's a crazy person.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nobody?
Next is
Yeah.
Jeff.
Guys, sorry about yesterday. Had technical difficulty. So the very superficial knowledge I have of this incident, because it just like happened, I posted the kind of the wherewithal of the IDF and commander's position. You're seeing a disconnect between, so there's two things that jump out at me, or three. One is maintaining continuity of missions, message, and effort and organizational culture when you have a chain of command. The second is the friction that usually comes between junior and senior enlisted and the officer corps, particularly those that are new to the officer or just be coming into that role, and also ensuring that that the impact that soft power can have on the efficacy of unit, how effective they are on the battlefield. So, you have the commander said the signs were like allegedly depicting all these different images that are, inappropriate, inconsistent with IDF values. Quite often, soldiers will, do or say things that, would not be taken as, they'd be a faux pas amongst, non-military communities. Whereas the soldiers themselves had, their position is that the signs were a long-standing company tradition and heritage. It's passed down between intakes, new recruits, and some of them were linked to the battles they fought. Recently returned from Lebanon, as Sapir had mentioned. So this is why both the human resource, political, and cultural framework of organizational management is key in ensuring the efficacy of military units. Right, military very much focuses on structural. It's very efficiency focused, and that should be the primary focus, to be sure. What I'm saying is, if you don't apply these other kind of operational frameworks to supplement that structural framework, you can get stuff like this. Sometimes you get like a new commander comes in, I'm going to make my big splash, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, there's something to be said about, taking time to learn the unit's organizational culture before you start making big moves. Most good commanders, when they come in, don't say or do shit for a couple of weeks. They just observe and they listen to their senior NCO corps as they kind of give and feed them. They kind of give them the skinny on how things shake out, how the unit works. This is this guy. This is why this guy does that. These. I mean, people are not robots. So yeah, I mean, I could see, I can understand also why it probably upset you, Sapir. I'm sorry, one, war fighter to another.
Not just upsetting me, upsetting a lot of people. Like those signs have been there for years. It's not something new that popped out. And two of the signs that he broke particularly were from two soldiers that sacrificed themselves on October 7th. And there's just a lot about it. Like, I want to read one of the messages that I got from a friend of mine. So my partner is one of the fighters who were in that base. I beg you to do something. They keep firing soldiers. They want to take away his warrior badge after he sacrificed his life for this country. And this is their gratitude. My man wakes up from his sleep because of anxiety and PTSD. There's not a single night that he manages to sleep properly after what he saw in the enemy territory. Yet the military just dismisses him like that. I beg someone to do something and hope that the army will gain some sense.
Yeah, I kind of. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, not that this is about me. So when I was deployed at Ground Zero, I put a flag on my K-pot when I was deployed there. And then we were getting ready to do like a lot of these other, I don't want to say field training exercise. We were getting ready to prep our units to go overseas. And there was this new lieutenant's like, you got to take that, that American flag off your K-pot. That's not regs, blah, 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 blah. And so, there was a lot of tension there. I mean, was the regs there? Yeah. Sure. Also, like, it's a flag that I put on my K-pot when I was deployed 100 feet away from burning rubble and had to smell almost 3,000 of my fellow citizens burning and rotting for 22 hours a day every day. And it had a lot of personal symbolism and meaning, right? So you get this
and
a
again,
new
like,
go ahead.
sorry,
No,
and again, like, and obviously that flag had big significance to you, but this is even beyond a personal significance because it's a tradition that been passed down for the past 80 years.
Oh, I wasn't trying to
Oh, no, I'm
like
not
say
saying
there's
you're
any
trying to compare.
comparison between soldiers that have paid the ultimate sacrifice and me with the flag on my K-pot. I'm just saying as a additional example of how you can have, if you have an officer corps that does not include the political, human resource, and cultural framework, in this case the cultural framework of organizational management, symbolism and meaning, every one of, like a guidon, like guidons are not just like a flag that you have to carry. Those are symbols, and they kind of outline the history of that unit. You get some guy who has like the 700s of justice in his head, or even if he has like legitimate reasons, like, okay, this might be used at by our enemies to misrepresent the nature of the IDF because some of the signs are not congruent with IDF values, and that might be there. Again, these are signs that these things represent symbolic meaning to that unit, and it's leadership is not just what it says in the book, right? There's alchemy to it. There's an art to that, and it seems like that very much was not applied here. And you have the result. What you have, the result you have, and then our enemies very much pick up on it and misrepresent it, right? Yeah, I mean, I understand why you're upset. That's very much a failure at the command level. Not that the guy should be like flogged. I'm just saying there definitely needs to be, this should be handed with the nuances that it deserves.
I would also like to remind people that it's not like in the US military where you have like where it's very specific people going through very specific training. Those are all teenagers between 18-year-olds to 21 years old. And like this is a sensitive age, and in the end, like, you can't do the whole mind breaking stuff that like they do for, like, I know in the Marines in the US. You can't do that if with most units, because in the end you need a functioning society after the service. So there is a complication here of like, how much do we see this person as a soldier and how much do we see this person as a human?
All right,
Yeah,
Nelson.
you're saying. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say Sherry wanted to reply to Jeff.
As I understand what's going on here, is the fact that the signs were there before the new commander. And it was an inspiration to the soldiers, the IDF, the people serving, before they go into battle. And why would you break that? And I think Jeffrey said a beautiful thing about what leadership is supposed to be. And some people in leadership feel that it's about control. And I get that. You're saying, okay, I'm the new guy. Here I am. We're gonna get away with the we're gonna get rid of the old, we're gonna start the new. But leadership is also about reaching people inspiration for where they stand. And if you're gonna destroy the inspiration they have and the love and the compassion they have on uh, what he did was, it was not only just disrespecting the dead, but it was breaking the inspiration, as far as I know it, that we practice in the US. It's about protecting your brother. Sometimes we don't like the mission. Sometimes we don't want to be there, but we also are there to protect our brother, stand by our brother. And what that did, that one single act broke the inspiration of protecting our brother, wanting to see our brother come home. Not just us, but also our brother. I hope I said that well. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Sapir.
Next is Kat.
Yeah, I uh, I want to make sure that I'm not like wrong here. So please correct me if I'm wrong, Sapir. Is it something bigger than this man acting out and the army still not fully like getting the situation right and acting out yet for now badly, and they might just change it in an hour? Or is it bigger than that?
It's a situation that's been unfolding throughout the entire day. At the start, like
No, but I get it, but one day is still not a lot. I'm asking, is it like bigger than this case? Does it have bigger meanings, political or something else?
well, because as the situation unfolding, it seems like it seems like I and this is pure speculations again, everything with a grain of salt. So basically he blamed that the signs were having signs of Satan's and stuff. So beyond values of the IDF, a religious value.
I get it. I
and
get it.
and
I got you now. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So
But beyond that, it already adds to the tension of how many fighters are missing, and suddenly it's an entire symbolic thing now, because again, it's soldiers that have been fighting for so long, and then suddenly it's like you throwing them out.
so let me guess. Is this man now viewed as a right winger lunatic or whatever? Is he religious, by the way?
We don't know exactly. It's all speculations right now. This is why I'm trying to be very careful with my wording here.
Okay. So can I tell you what I was going for? Because on its face, the way you told it, and I'm not completely like in the, I didn't go, I saw something about it, but I didn't go into it. So I don't know. On its face, it looks like a disciplinarian thing, an internal organizational thing. It doesn't seem like such an issue that would grant so much attention, especially like I get the emotions, but I don't get the importance. You know, make the. I'm not downplaying this. Don't get this wrong, especially if you know someone. Okay, so um, unless it becomes something more like political and stuff, I don't see why it's a huge thing beyond a very bad thing that is done. Yes, of course, but it can be fixed in a very regular way. The IDF was not established yesterday. The IDF, I'm sure, had very bad people in the history of it, and it was taken care of. Why is it different? I don't get it.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.